Today we have a special guest, Fernanda, who bravely shares her story of a trauma that she experienced in her teenage years. She had a frightening encounter with a stranger, and this experience impacted her life. But first, Fernanda, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny, for having me here today. It's my pleasure to be interviewed by you and support you and everyone else who is in need to hear what I have to share today. And a little bit about myself. I am originally from Brazil, and I came to the United States about 18 years ago. And when I was 14 years old, that's when I had these very unpleasant experience that I was followed by a guy for about 30 minutes.
It's really funny.
Yeah, and that's I remember when you're sharing the information that you're creating these podcasts to support everyone who's in need for healing. And I thought that would be a great opportunity to speak up. That's actually the first time I'm doing this in public. I constantly talk to myself, my head about it.
Yeah.
But I think now it will be very important to share this with everyone.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you chose to share the story with us because as women and children, we experience frightening encounters with strangers, or it could be something as small as, which isn't very small, but catcalling or, someone making us feel uncomfortable, and how devastating and impactful that is. And so thank you for sharing your story. Do you want to take us to that moment when this experience happened?
Yeah, or any other information I can share about my background or anything else you can find if you need to share more. I'm happy to share a little bit more.
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
You like me.
Okay. So, why don't you take us to a little bit more about who you are today?
Okay. That's a great question. Who I am today, I am someone that has a growth mindset, constantly open to learn, share, and develop, both professionally and personally. And it's constantly growing, learning, and having connections with different people and different background experiences, different cultures. And I'm fascinated with what all life has to bring to us. And every day is a different day with unique and very special experiences.
Yes, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I am someone who is open to whatever comes towards me. And I truly believe the universe brings us to a common goal. And we're here to learn where we need to go.
Yes, absolutely. Beautifully said. So take us back to this frightening experience you had as a teenager, and we'll go into how it's impacted you.
Yeah. And in Brazil, we have the carnival that we celebrate in February. However, we do have what we call pre-carnival. It's like in November. We already start celebrating the carnival way before. And it was, at that time, I was 14 years old. And we always think that we're immortal, nothing's going to happen to us. And I left this event very early in the morning because the party was supposed to be very early in the morning. I decided to go by myself back home. That was the worst decision I have ever made. And I start walking back home, and eventually I saw this guy who was following me in every single block for 30 minutes until I got back to my home. It was 5:30 a.m. in the morning. I was by myself, thinking that I could do everything I wanted. I was super powerful. I didn't even think about to be worried about walking by myself. And it's, I still think it's a very vivid image up to now. And I still have that trauma in my head. Like,
Yeah.
and I can share more as we go through it.
Yeah.
But that's how the moment started, the situation occurred.
When you think back to that experience, what stands out most about the way you felt that moment?
I had my heart is coming out of him. It was somehow I had this idea that I took a lot of turns. Every time I would turn right or left in one of the streets, I would run without being seen. In this way, I would keep some distance from him, so I wouldn't allow for him to get closer to me or touch me or whatever. Somehow I had that, but the whole time I was pretending that, yeah, he's following me, but I'm going to pretend I'm not seeing. But every time I would turn right or left, I would run to get distance from him.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you think that's affected your sense of safety and trust in the world?
It's interesting you mentioned the word trust. Up to now, I only thought about safety. And now you think that I do have trust issues, actually, that perhaps may come from that situation.
I'm sure, I feel in my own experiences that when the times I didn't feel safe were from, sometimes I didn't feel safe, but from people that I knew. So learning to trust the right way or who to trust.
You learn the right way and who to trust.
What kind of support did you have after that happened?
Yeah, it was when I got back home, it was very early morning and I couldn't share with my mom and dad. The first thing I saw my sister, she was sleeping, she was in the kitchen, something like that. And I panicked. I was in front of her. I start touching her all over her shoulders and I was totally in panic. And she was, what's going on? I couldn't speak up. I couldn't say anything. And then I was just in front of her, paralyzed and start crying. And then I eventually I was able to tell her what happened.
Yeah. Do you think that people understood the severity of that experience? You being young.
Yeah, honestly, at that time, I didn't really evolve too much in that conversation. I probably don't remember even telling my mom and dad right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I shared with my sister, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, you probably felt just such a huge sense of relief that it was over.
Yeah,
and maybe just I wanted to put it behind you.
Yeah, I perhaps now thinking back, I probably even thought it was my fault. Why did I leave at that time by myself? Of course. I put myself out there. So I probably even thought, well, I should be quiet because I should not say anything.
Yes, I see. So you were 14.
14.
Wow. So, in that you had that awareness that you knew someone was following you. And I can imagine not every 14-year-old would have that awareness. And to think quick too, like I need to run when he's not looking and get around the corner faster.
Yeah. I really don't know where that came from.
Yeah. Like survival instincts kicked in, and we never know what those will be once something happens like that. How are you now? Like how, because you were alone. So how is it for you now when you're alone?
Yeah. It's still very deep on how I behave and what I do, why I do what I do. One of the main reasons why I also remain in this country is because I feel safer in the United States than in my country, which is sad because it's something that holds me back.
Yeah.
And I fear my shadow. I'm walking. I since that time, I had my ex-boyfriend at that time. I worked together for many years, and I always had someone to give me company. I could go out, I could go grocery, I could go to my friend's house and go partying and clubbing. I always had someone with me, which I believe it made it even worse for me nowadays to go all by myself.
Yeah.
Because I always had someone who could protect me.
Do you think you were aware of that, or you just subconsciously made sure someone was always next to you?
Well, nowadays I reflect back that I still have that fear. I don't go out when it's dark outside by myself, ever.
Yes.
Since what I always have someone with me, I don't think I was aware. It was more about, I have the relationship, and in Brazil, we mainly are constantly in community as a group and not as much as individual or just going by myself or not by myself.
Right.
I don't think I was aware. It just happened to be that way.
Right. And then it came up later on in life when you started to be more alone, not have that entourage of friends.
Yeah. When our relationship ended, then I realized, oh, now I am on my own.
Yeah. This is really important because I'm sure there's men as well that feel this, that many times in my life, I've had to explain to men or to others that didn't have maybe a trauma experience how I don't like to, like, I remember walking my son to school, and it was only a few blocks, but I felt harassed every other time I'm walking. And already having trauma, it's like, okay, I just can't do it anymore. I can't walk into school anymore. How safety issues is so something that we have to really think about as a woman before we go out into the world by ourselves. You shared an experience that you had with a friend that really helped you. How I was so that experience.
Yeah, I'm happy to. And I have a very close friend here in the US, and one time or a couple times we went out to a restaurant or clubbing or to an event, and I would go back home. And before going back home late during the night, she would offer me, if you want, I can follow you back home. I can drive behind you, and I wait until you get back home. And you call me. I don't leave the parking lot until you're back home. And for me, it's like it sounds very simple, but for me, it's like a huge. I felt that sense of protection, caring, that I'm seen, and I will never forget when she offered me several times to do that, and she, no, that's no problem. And it was like a kind of like a mom protection, like I'll help you out, I'll follow you.
That is so amazing. That's something, just that kindness that I understand. I know how you feel. I'm going to watch over you. I had an experience similar to that when I was younger. I lived in a house by myself, and it was a 3-bedroom house. And it was an older house, and it would creak and pop. And I was so terrified. So I would have a friend talk to me on the phone until I fell asleep. Yes. So when you told me your story, I completely resonated with me.
Yeah.
And I feel like it can resonate with a lot of people out there that has had trauma like that and someone invading their space or their safety.
Yeah.
And being alone.
Do you feel that you're always on alert mode because of that?
Yeah.
Because I am constantly
Yes.
that. Like I hear the sounds of the house and I sometimes I jump.
Yes, I do. I am. And I'm the first one to wake up in the middle of the night. So everyone else will sleep and like, you didn't hear that noise in the middle of the night. I'm very on alert and I don't like to walk by myself. I see women running by themselves and I'm like, wow, she's so brave. I know it's not something I can do.
Me too. Yeah.
And it's small things too, but they're really not small. Because they're really impacting your life, like you're thinking way steps ahead. And it limits you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having that person, like just that friend that offered you that kindness of just, hey, I'm going to make sure you get home okay. I'm going to follow you. You don't fall.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Do you go out at all by yourself in the community? Or do you make sure you always have company?
Yeah, so if it's dark, I only go and meet someone in my car. And then I meet them and I always ask someone, oh, can I meet you in the parking lot so we can walk together? If occasionally, sometimes I am actually embarrassed to ask my friends because not everyone will understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So if I go from one parking lot to a restaurant, for example, I have my heart beating so fast. I do it because I know my purpose is meeting with my friends, connection, community, getting together. I know I will have fun. And at the same time, I always have these before and after. Yeah, going out, that is that fear. Yeah, always spots up, regardless. And during the day, even the other day, I start walking, during the weather is wonderful now, right? And I just go for a quick walk, 10, 15 minutes, maybe lunchtime, including my break. And then I told my partner, he was like, I'm proud of you. And I went by myself, that knew me. Yeah. But I walk and then I'm always alert, like looking around me, someone's behind me. Yeah. Or if some sound comes, constantly, I completely lost my freedom. Yeah. Like you're saying, and limits myself. I would love to go out for running. Yeah. As well. Any time of the day, I can't. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, I understand that. And it really, my trauma has also, impacted my life in so many ways that it was so refreshing to hear your story. So I hope that others that also are experienced trauma will also be grateful for this story that, we're not the only ones that rearrange our lives for our safety and to feel protected. And it's something powerful because we actually have to rearrange our lives because to bypass that fear and lack of safety, which takes energy. Yeah. Right? It prevents us from doing things and makes us to spend energy while spending something else. I blame a lot of it from my antisocial times. Yes. Because I've had many times with friends like, let's meet out here. I'm like, oh no, we're all coming from different directions, so I can't really meet and then go. Yeah, you gotta go through a checklist. These I can do, these I cannot do. If I do these, that It's like it could drive me nuts, but I constantly do that.
Yeah. What self-care practices become most important to you uh, that have helped you uh, deal with these inconveniences?
Yeah. Self-care, I think for me nowadays, like I have for the past few years, I have been working a lot on how to regulate my emotions. And I decided, okay, I'm going to go through that moment. I know I will fear. I know I have a lot of adrenaline. I will have a lot of emotions going on. And what I found very helpful for me is to do a lot of tapping to release the energy, taking yoga.
Yeah.
Which is, for me, I have been taking the past 20 years or so, and it really helped me to understand my body and understand that sometimes my body is feeling well, my brain's not, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Or both of them are not working, my brain and body, or the other way around. They are both working well. And I think that yoga helped me to understand more about myself, and with that, understanding more depth on my emotions. By understanding what emotion I have, I put these tapping together to release and accept. Like for now, I know I'm going to go through these tough times, and I know that I can regulate in a little bit better way than I used to, instead of just dragging the emotion for too long. So it's still a process. So I still have that.
Healing is, I say this a lot, but there's so much more to it, but healing is a lifetime journey, and it changes with each day. And what might have worked at one time may not work the next day. So always finding self-care, different ways to care for yourself is so important. So I love that you found that. Yoga is amazing.
Yeah,
I can't say enough about it. The breath to movement, and feeling the mind body is one. So I'm so happy that you have. What advice do you give to listeners that have experienced something similar?
Yeah. I was reflecting on this since you invited me for this interview. The advice I give, because now this past 30 years that this happened to me, and on my at the rational level, I know I'm saying, what's going to happen to me? Even though there is still a chance, the chances are that nothing is going to happen to me again, that somebody's going to follow me. My rational knows that. I believe what I could have done, and what I would advise everyone who's in this journey or unfortunately experienced what I experienced. It's more like it's almost like a cut, right? Try to heal right from the beginning. I think for me, I never took care of it. I had that
Reverberation going over.
Going over and over again. And I kept saying, oh, I spoke like the trauma as it was part of me, instead of saying it was just one episode.
Yes.
There was only one situation. Yes. But I kind of I was feeding my thoughts. Oh, that's going to happen again. That's going to happen again. That's going to happen again. And I think it was too long, that the longer you wait, the worse it gets for you to get out of that thought. I think now you program your brain, like I programmed my brain for so many years, that I still believe that thing will happen. Yeah. I think my suggestion is, once you see the problem, try to fix it right there.
Yes. It's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
It's so important. It's so true. It's just like a nerve. And if you constantly put any pressure on that nerve, constant, the more weaker it becomes. And so I also truly believe that it's never too late to find a way around through it and to heal. But the sooner the better.
Yeah.
And I felt like my generation, it wasn't so easy. So I'm hoping like newer, younger generations will find this easier to talk, because there wasn't a lot of mental health being talked about. So maybe too, I don't know for you, but maybe that was also the case. Not a lot of mental health was easily accessible, or options for mental health to help. I always, would shrink my trauma or my problems, but it's not as bad as what other people have. So, so it make excuses not to help yourself.
Yeah. I think regardless of how big or small you think the problem is, you need to focus on it. I see like being from the healthcare field, I feel that we take care about issues. If you get a cut, you go and treat, right? But then when you have some mental issue, you don't go after the fix because you don't see it. It's a little subjective, right?
Right.
But I see that the same way we have, every day we brush our teeth, we gotta have the mental care.
Yeah.
What can we do about it? And like I remember, like my generation, my mom's generation, you could talk anything about mental health, you're crazy.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not crazy.
Right.
Everyone deserves it.
Yeah.
I think nowadays we're getting better and better to first understand, right, what we're going through it, identify, then we can find some solution.
Yes. And that this experience was a trauma, and it is a trauma experience. And that it's okay to label it as that and to find help and ask others for help. I love going back to the story of your friend helping you, offering that help, and just reaching out and saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable about this. Do you mind, meeting me at my house or meet you at your house to go together and not be alone?
And asking, you said the right word, asking, and not being ashamed of asking because I never asked for help. I think, oh, that's my issue. Nobody has nothing to do with my problems.
Yeah.
And sometimes people like to be asked for help.
Yeah.
Because they feel like I like to help others, but I don't like to bother others.
Yeah.
But we need to understand that sometimes they want you to ask them to look at you.
And I'm sure too, like that is by you asking for help allows that person then to know that it's okay to ask for help, because there's something we all need help with. We need a little boost or a little nurturing from our friends.
And most likely a lot of us go through different things that we want to ask for help or we don't, but if we start, someone else will ask for help.
It's beautiful.
That makes me want to start asking for more help.
I know. Well, yeah, because it really, I think we are not the only ones. I think it's common for people to be embarrassed, not just embarrassed, but feeling like they're inconveniencing others by asking. But when someone else asks you, I don't know, but I know I felt this way. When someone asks for advice or help, and now we're the part of our relationship where I can also ask for advice and help, and it's not, it's someone broke that ice, that we can now reach a new level in a relationship.
Yeah.
We can ask, each other for help, what we all need, even if it's something so small.
Yeah.
And maybe feel small, but be so impactful.
Yeah. And now I'm thinking actually, we build trust on our relationship with our friends and by asking.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I think also not being able to talking about it is really important, because then we're able to really understand it more within us, to know what it is that we need. And many times I have myself not been able to explain in my own mind what it is that I need. So talking about it or listening to podcasts like this, like really understanding those emotions and how to explain what it is that you need. Because I think that translation of like what it is that I don't know how to translate what I need, even if it's so small, how to guide the conversation or to, and through time, the more I can't say that I'm constantly, practicing that the way I should, but I know through time, the more I've done it and gotten trust, it felt so good.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're not alone when you can lean on someone.
Yeah, and sometimes if we don't know what to ask to a friend or a colleague or family, perhaps we talk about what to ask and how to ask. Right, take one step back, right? Because sometimes we're asking for something we don't get any answer because we didn't ask the right question.
Yeah, that's it.
Or the right need for that particular.
You're like, no, wait a minute, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
But now it's too late. You feel like you can't, it's a mess of words and mistranslation.
Yeah. And I learned the other day, I saw something and somewhere, I don't remember where, they were saying the differences, right? When you just talk to yourself, just mentally, when you speak and when you write. So how powerful is like you don't have those thoughts organized very well. You speak, you have to organize before you speak. But if you write it down, it's even more powerful.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I keep saying journaling. Why journaling? Why journaling? It's because you narrow down.
Yeah.
Your thoughts. And then that's why you say clear your mind.
I love that. It's funny you said that, because I just saw something the other day where someone was recommending to talk out loud while they're driving to organize your thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's like the stepping process, then write it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And then sometimes going back to make the link of what you're describing, right? Asking for help. Sometimes we don't even know what to ask. Maybe just troubleshooting with a friend and family and saying, oh, I'm trying to find a good way to, how can I identify what I need?
Yeah.
Maybe that will help our process of what we really need.
And that it's okay to be vulnerable. I don't know why it's so hard for many of us to be vulnerable and feel like when it comes to relationships, it's that dance of where can I feel vulnerable? Can I feel vulnerable here? And not be judged, and the feeling that I might be judged with what I say, and then everything just kind of freezes up. What?
Yeah.
But practice.
Yeah. And one of it's interesting, saying that because when you mentioned about your healing podcasts and everything, and I just immediately when you said I offered myself because I decided I want to do something different than what I have done so far. It's called vulnerability. I decided, why not sharing this trauma, right? And I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go over like not saying, not talking about it. Not that I was embarrassed. I think it's more about who cares.
Yeah.
And I decided, no, I'm gonna do the other way around because I'm gonna speak up. I'm gonna be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable first, then you can speak up.
Yes.
And because if everything I have done so far it didn't work, we're the one who has to change.
Yeah.
I decided, okay, I'm going to break the ice. And I know
I'm
that
so happy.
you always make us to feel comfortable, and like, I know I'm going to feel comfortable with Jenny. Hey, I can be a volunteer. So
I'm so happy you did that.
Yeah.
Because there's no experience of trauma too small, too big to share. It's all trauma. It's all experience. And we all need that little that push, that connection. And I'm so grateful that you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you told me your story initially, I was just like, really resonate. I'm so happy that you came up because that part, that seed and that trust is so important. Isn't that the foundation of relationships? Yeah. And if we are depriving ourselves of, and working around it so hard, it is so valuable to share. And hope that someone is inspired to start getting the help or, start the help back up. And even if it's just being vulnerable and asking, hey, can you meet me?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. And you shared some of your limitations, and I was intrigued by it. You see, we experienced different traumas, although we have similar limitations. Like you said, I would love to go for a running by myself. I have the same wish.
Yeah.
You see? So we both experienced different traumas.
Yes.
And we still have similar limitations.
Yes.
Perhaps we might have the same coping that we need. I don't know the answer, but it might be, right?
Yes.
If we go to the core of the issue, right? Safety and trust, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. Our traumas were different, however, the core, it was the same.
Yes.
Right? Safety and trust.
I love that.
Right? We can like peel it off and then.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Maybe we can go for a run together.
Exactly. That's what we need. The power comes in validation for ourselves and others hearing our stories and knowing that it's not strange not want to run by yourself. It's no matter what age you are. I experience things I remember in elementary school, walking home from school, all the way, to being, in my 40s and walking my son to school. It's important for people to know, to be educated, on something that they may do could really impact the rest of someone's life, even if they think it's small or they think it's flattering. And we so don't think it's flattering. Yeah.
And one thing that might be possible too, I'm picturing what this new generation is now, that they don't go out as often.
That's true.
I wonder if perhaps how that will impact later on, because if they do not go out as much, the few times they go out, because we're constantly on social media, on the phones, right? And what is the self-awareness of what is surrounding them? Will they experience something? It just popped up in my brain now. Would that be different, right? Or they are not going to be self-aware. It might be that they are lucky that they're not self-aware and they just live life freely. Right. Because they're not just thought about that.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience. We didn't grow up with so much online activity. It was more if we wanted to have experiences, we go physically out and have those connection.
Yeah.
So that's interesting too.
Yeah.
I'm so delighted to have you here and to do this interview. We did it in person, which is different and exciting, and so happy that we did that. Thank you, Fernanda. Is there anything that you would like to leave with our listeners?
Yeah, what I would like to leave for everyone is take care of yourself. Go out and search for help, learnings, and the better learnings you have, the more better decisions you can make.
Yes,
with our life, and we are responsible for ourselves. And just seek out for help.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and I would love to have you on again in the future. This is a great conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the connection, and I appreciate you, Jamie, for opening up your beautiful house and the opportunity to share my experience with you. And I remember when I first went to your class at the yoga, and I was thinking all the day, it was like only few people when you just started. I remember it was on Thursday evening. I think we were like 6 or 7 people. And from day 0, from day 1, I saw, oh my gosh, it has so much light and beautiful things that I want to come every time. And now we see all the class at the yoga, and there's like lots of people in there. And it's like, oh, so beautiful to see.
I feel so inspired. I feel like I'm on the right path. I feel it's so beautiful. And it was Sunday. There was 48 people.
I counted the other day. It was almost 50. Yes.
Oh my goodness, that was so beautiful. Yeah. I'm so happy that many people are finding yoga.
Yeah.
And using it.
Yeah. And I noticed that some of us, I haven't got to that point yet, but it's so beautiful and gentle. And I saw that some of the folks, they do the transitions like you do. Because that's how the human nature, right?
Yeah.
Mimic whatever we see.
Yeah.
And then I see some of the girls, they were being very like in dancing movement.
That's so beautiful. And because I'm doing it with you, I'm not looking so much.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's
my self-awareness is my alert mode like kicking in, and then we saw that.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. You're such a beautiful woman. And I so appreciate you sharing this story.
Thank you so much, and looking forward to be here with you all.
I'm sure we have many more conversations to have in the future.
Absolutely.
In our lives, moment.
Likewise.